Alright, so today we're going to be comparing two very awesome brand new drones, the DJI Mavic and the GoPro Karma. At first glance they look very similar. The overall structure of how the drones actually work, with the arms both folding in, that's very similar on both of them. If we dive into the specs of the two, the GoPro Karma, the overall weight is 35.5 ounces, the Mavic is 25.9 ounces, so the Mavic is quite a bit lighter there. The max speed for the Karma is 35 miles per hour, and for the Mavic it is 40 miles per hour. So an increase of 5 miles per hour right there. Flight time for the Karma is 20 minutes and for the Mavic is 27 minutes. So without going any further, you can already tell from the first basic drone systems, I guess, the Maverick basically is beating it in every single one of those. If we compare the cameras, the GoPro Karma does not actually come with a camera. You have to buy the Hero 5 separately. We'll talk about the price in just a second. So if you want the Hero 5, that does 4K at 30 frames per second. The Mavic does 4K at 30 frames per second and C4K at 24 frames per second, I believe. That's some sort of cinema 4K, which you don't see on the GoPro. We should also mention that the GoPro has a huge fisheye, which if you're doing cinematic aerial work, it kind of gets in the way of that and it doesn't look as realistic as the more flat DJI drones. The GoPro Karma does not have obstacle avoidance, which the DJI Mavic does. It's very similar to the Phantom 4, also has that same kind of obstacle avoidance in the front, and then there's also two sensors on the bottom. So comparing the Phantom 4 and the Mavic, those two are actually very similar in overall specs, just that the Mavic can collapse down to much smaller and also is almost half the weight of the Phantom 4. GoPro Karma does not have a built-in follow me feature, which the Mavic does. Return the home they both do have, which is key if you're a new pilot and your drone flies away or you can't control it. You can just press a button, or I think it's a sliding little gesture on your phone or screen, and it will return to home automatically. Now if we talk about price, the GoPro Karma is starting at $799 without a camera, which the Hero 5 is about $400 I believe, but then you have to buy the camera on top of that price, whereas with the Mavic it's actually less expensive. If you don't get the remote, it's $749. You also get that 4K camera. With the remote, it is closer to $1,000. So if you're looking to get both the Karma or the Mavic all decked out with everything that you need, including the camera and the remote, and everything that comes standard in the drone, it'll be over $1,200 for the Karma and just under $1,000 for the DJI Mavic. So if we compare the specs of the DJI Mavic versus the Karma, the Mavic absolutely blows the Karma out of the water. It basically just makes it useless in terms of the specs. There is one feature though that the Karma has over the DJI Mavic, and that is you can actually take the camera with the gimbal right off of the Karma and stick it onto this handle grip, and then it's basically your own gimbal sort of thing, and you use the exact same camera. So DJI does not make something like this. You could, and I actually have in the past, just held the drone with the propellers off but on, so the gimbal is working, and you can get pretty nice work with that. It is very stable. Looks like the drone is actually flying even though you're just holding it. So if you are looking to get that in the air and also on the ground stabilization, and you only want to buy one camera or one system, the GoPro Karma actually could be better for you, because then you'll be able to take the gimbal right off of your Karma, slap it onto that stick thing, and just run with it. There are still several things that we don't know yet, since these have not been out for very long. We don't know how the actual flight is. I've seen a lot of test footage and actual video looking at the DJI Mavic, and even indoors when you have no GPS, it is rock solid, not gonna move. And I haven't really seen too much of the Karma indoors stuff like that. So we don't really know how the overall flight is of both the drones. That could definitely affect your decision when buying either of these drones.
I've never flown a drone in this studio without either getting hurt or breaking the drone, but they really went on and on about how this thing can fly well indoors, so I'm gonna give it like a quick try. Wow! Look how steady it is! There's no GPS in here or anything, it's just steady. I don't even have the controller!
My last point is that DJI has been making drones and other camera equipment stuff for several years now. They are on their 4th generation of the Phantom. It's actually one of the most popular drones, if not the most popular consumer drone on the market in the world to date. So DJI really knows what they're doing. This is the first drone that GoPro has made. So just like how with the first version of the Phantom, there were some glitches or improvements that were needed to get all the way to the Phantom 4. I'm not saying that there will be any of those weird things happening with the Karma, it's just we don't really know yet because not many people have used it. We haven't really seen too many real world reviews of the Karma yet, so definitely we'll have to keep an eye out for what actual users think of the drone, if it is actually comparable to the Mavic in terms of flight and overall use. But as of right now, it looks like the Mavic is just simply a better drone. If you have the Phantom 4 or something like that, the Phantom 3 Professional, is it worth upgrading to the DJI Mavic? I don't see there being too many changes. There's basically no upgrade to any of the camera or any of the other flight systems. If you want to get that smaller size, more compact, easier to travel, that is one of the key selling points of this drone. If that is very important for you, then you could consider this. Otherwise, I don't see there being too many takeaways by exchanging your current drone if it's one of the Phantoms and buying this brand new DJI Mavic. That's all I've got. If you have any comments or if I missed something, you can leave it down below in the comments. I must say that the future of drones looks really, really awesome. For us consumers, this competition here between two very large brands is actually a good thing if you think about it, because it's going to drive down price and also force each company to try to make the better product in the next couple of years. So for us consumers, it is really, really awesome to just sit back and watch the evolution, I guess, of drones in the next couple of years, because they have really taken off.